welcome to Bold Schoolers. We've talked about choice and connection, so today let's talk about competence, the last of our 3 psychological needs that make up intrinsic motivation. When we think of competence, I think we often think of our kids being able to do things, to have skills, to know things, and that's absolutely what we want. There's a bigger idea of competence that I'd like you to sink into today. Our kids want to feel like they can age appropriately, manage everyday life. They want to demonstrate skill over time, to grow and to learn every single day. That kind of forward movement in making progress towards meaningful goals is a big motivator. The things we are most proud of are not typically things that were handed to us without our own personal sweat equity. The challenges that are most satisfying are the ones that we had to work hard to overcome and to master. There are reasons that our kids turn away from such challenges. Maybe the challenge is too great, too boring, or lacks relevancy. Maybe the challenge brings up a negative belief system and then debilitating self-talk that we need to address. Maybe goals are overwhelming because our kids are tired or hungry or in some other way lacking in well-being. We can talk about all of those things and more, and many of them can be intercepted upstream and eliminated before they ever rear their stubborn heads. There's a parable that I would like to share that might illustrate this idea. You and your friend are out at the river one day having a picnic lunch, and you look up and in the river there's a kid flailing about, drowning in the water. So you and your friend jump in the water to rescue that kid. Before you know it, you have that kid out of the water and another child is floating downstream, drowning, flailing about that you have to rescue. Before long, there are kids every few seconds coming down the river, and you and your friend are really busy rescuing these kids. Next thing you know, your friend is climbing out of the riverbank, out of the river, and there you are in the river trying to rescue all of these kids on your own. So you say to your friend, "Where are you going? We're rescuing children." And your friend says, "I'm hiking upstream to tackle the guy who keeps throwing these kids in the water." We can prevent a lot of problems downstream if we address those issues upstream. And this is where your work comes in. One of our jobs as our children's partner is to notice the tendencies, to root out what's really going on, to listen and to watch with a curious heart. Unless we're tuned in, we can't move upstream to prevent our kid from getting tossed in the water. Instead, we'll be busy rescuing drowning kids downstream. One of the most common obstacles to competency is learning that is perceived as too difficult from your child's perspective. Let's talk about that today. Frustration or overwhelm often happens when learning something new. Children lack prior knowledge and have limited knowledge frameworks in their brains that can support new learning. Establishing prior knowledge before learning something new is a great idea. You might do this through a concrete learning experience like a project, a field trip, or other hands-on experience. Just make sure to follow such experiences with a debrief that names and discusses the key ideas and concepts that you hope to get in your child's body in some way. Relate new learning to things your child already understands through discussions, experiences, storytelling, or even embedded within some type of game. When learning something new, I think about breaking skills down into valuable sub-skills, bite-sized pieces, because the experience of forward movement will allow your child to feel successful immediately. Motivation is stoked from little win to little win. In reading, for example, learn frequently occurring sight words before learning to read less common sight words. Choose skills that have some safety built into them because lots of errors will be made when learning something new. Fear and anxiety will quickly erode feelings of competency. So initially, choose skills that offer small wins. In addition to sub-skills, ideas can be organized into overarching themes. For example, when discovering the past through the study of history, your child might learn about the big ideas that repeat across a particular time in history before concentrating on those detailed facts such as names and dates. Once the historical events are organized into such big categories like big ideas, places on a history timeline, or maybe advantages and consequences, remembering the names of key people and those dates and those events will begin to make more sense. It'll be easier to master. This is an example of a technique called chunking. If students concentrate only on basic recall information, the real purposes for the study of history are probably lost. Competency is about meaning making. We can create competence by helping children zoom in towards important sub-skills and zoom out towards important big ideas. When learning something new, children can ask, what do I already know how to do? Or what's one small step beyond what I know how to do? Who or what can help me learn that next step? Happy bold schooling.